Hello, everyone. Darren here. This is episode 3 of Derren Talks. Normally, I don't really want to be putting these out, really close together, but I am recording this. Probably going to put this out shortly after my Darren Talks about artillery one, just because another question was asked of me. That'd be a very good topic to discuss. And before I get started on that, I just want to reiterate very strongly because the artillery one is apparently very passionate filled, and while I like that, I have to strongly reiterate that these videos are never advertised on my channel when I release them. They are not made to educate or convince people of my way of thinking. No, no. These are only here to answer the questions that are asked, so I don't have to keep answering them on live streams. And just in general, kind of allow people to understand my thoughts or my way of thinking when it comes to certain topics. And this topic here, I think we can kind of, for the most part, many of us all get behind. I hope. And that subject is I don't really know how to title it. I'll probably figure it out once I upload it onto YouTube. But it's the whole console superiority thing. And I really, really don't like that at all. My thoughts on the whole Xbox is better than PlayStation. Why are PlayStation users hating on Xbox? Why are Xbox users hating on PlayStation? Really, I don't understand it anymore. It kind of made a little bit of sense when it was like 360 versus Xbox One, or next gen versus old gen. But at this point now, with crossplay, I see us as not World of Tanks, Xbox players, World of Tanks PlayStation players. We are World of Tanks console. We are now joined together. We're not separated like there's a Berlin Wall in between us. We are now We are now together in in two servers in one game now. Not two separate games. We are now in one game. And we have the ability now to gift, I believe, in game we have the ability to gift, I believe, PlayStation players, stuff. PlayStation players can gift Xbox players stuff. So I don't see the whole issue. More likely what's going to end up happening here is that I'm going to end up having a call to action, and I think this would be a call to action pretty much all of us could get behind. I would hope so. I don't really want to repeat history and come off looking like an idiot. But that's my thought process. Now, why do I feel like there's people with console superiority, or why people have this? Really, I think it's just it's really hard to cover, to be honest here, because I come from born and raised of it. This whole segregation superiority complex is not a thing, so it's kind of hard for me to understand it. But I do believe it kind of stems from just being separated for so long. Kind of got worse once crossplay happened. What ended up happening was that, Xbox for the longest time had their own meta established, very, very well established meta. PlayStation had their very own well established meta. And then what ended up happening is that you end up combining the two. And so then all of a sudden you got you got Xbox players going to where they're going, PlayStation players going to where they're going, and it's like, to each other, it's like, this isn't where you're supposed to go. You're an idiot for going this direction. But in reality, on the Xbox, maybe going that way is the meta, or was the meta now, I guess, depending on what map or whatever. Or on PlayStation players, going there is the meta. I know on the Xbox, I don't exactly remember the map. It wasn't Lakeville. It was something with like a fishing village. I think, yeah, something regarding that fishing village on one side and just this trench along the other side. And it was like on Xbox for the longest time, you had the heavy tanks, the big heavy hitters going town. And then you always had the medium tanks, light tanks, and maybe some sniper TDs floating around on the middle ridge village thing outside the town. And that trench there kind of just floating, trying to fight against other stragglers and stuff like that. And when crossplay happened, it almost appeared like the meta on PlayStation was that you zerged down the trench line and you ignored the town. And Fisherman's Bay, this is the map I'm talking about now. It's Fisherman's Bay. Again, it's just so many maps at this point with fishing villages and ravines on the other side, and very confusing. So now that we know what map I'm talking about, we kind of get an idea. I think it was just what ended up happening was the combination of metas conflicting with each other, that it just kind of spiraled out of control. Of, hey, we're together now, we can play and stuff like that, to just PlayStation's an idiot, no, Xbox is an idiot, and it's like you're all idiots. Why let's just get along and let's work and establish a meta together. Really, honestly, to me, I thought kind of splitting up forces like that, kind of seemed a little bit the smart move there. Instead of it felt a little bit less likely when it first happened that lemming trains for a little bit actually died out, like, completely. They didn't go away, but it almost like they died out because, the metas were so different that you'd have half the team going one direction, half the team going the other direction. So it really was like for a while, for like a week, I never saw any lemming trains. Of course, they came back now. There's no denying that. But, yeah, that's really where I think the big issue came from. I don't know about the technology aspect. For a long time, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, we were the same thing. Xbox 360, I'm not going to cover that at this point. That's just, we're just going to leave that alone. But yeah, no. Really, what I would say right now that we as a community should do and remember is that we are now not World of Tanks Xbox, World of Tanks PlayStation. We are World of Tanks console. I'm ignoring whatever crazy titles they come up with. I'm sticking with World of Tanks console because that is basically what it is. I think what many of us want it to be is World of Tanks console version. And so we are now one community joined together on the same two servers. That needs to get through everyone's head now. We are now one entity. And so, in more, there should be things going in that allow us to grow together more as one entity. So I feel like if I had to do a call to action, it would be, to the developers to, give us things to allow us to help grow together more in the game. Sure, we could talk and chat and stuff in Discords or whatever, but that doesn't really help us in the game. Give us a way for us to, I guess you could say dynamic platoons. That'd be great if I could just randomly send a platoon invite to a PlayStation or Xbox user and hook up with them. Or, even, while game chat is being really finicky with me, I can't, better communication would be nice. Ways where it's like if I, you can aim at someone and be like, you halt or you fall back. It should be like, you flank left, you flank right, stuff like that. Or just better ways to communicate with each other, and even more so of even like I've had games where there's a PlayStation player who's really on point. He really knows what he's doing, and he and I helped carry the game to victory because it was a 2v4, and we worked together somehow without communication or bare minimum of communication, and we pulled together and had a victory. I really want to send a GG to that guy, but obviously the way the cross system works is that's not possible. A messaging system in the game, I feel like, would be great, of where, I could message someone in the game of, hey, GG, excellent job. You want to platoon up or something like that? Stuff like that. Add more things to allow us to communicate or grow together as one entity, I think would be good. And if, you know, if that stuff can't even be done, I guess my call to action would be to players, both Xbox and PlayStation, to, I guess, work together and, you know, by any means, maybe establish one meta. You know, instead of having to have conflicting metas, let's establish, you know, one meta together or something like that. But yeah, mainly that is my thoughts on this whole console superiority. Mainly to take away from it, for just summary, because I was just kind of rambling on here. Is, you know, this console superiority is stupid. It absolutely is stupid. We are now one entity with crossplay, and we need to work together, both as PlayStation and Xbox users, to find a way to grow together as one entity instead of staying separated. You know, this isn't 1960s to where there's segregation. The consoles are getting to the point where they're practically the same, with only just a different brand slapped on the front and maybe a different design. It's honestly stupid. So, yeah, it kind of makes, you know, the PC users laugh at us. And at this point, we should show them a thing or two about community coming together. So that's what I have to say on the subject. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I can actually upload the right video this time with replays instead of me just talking. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this one, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. And mainly, feel free to talk and discuss openly in the comment section below. But again, as usual, keep it mature, keep it adult, and I will be watching and moderating. But until next time, this has been Darren of WoT Academy.